Arts for Peace is an initiative, and I'm going to read this mission to you, because this is their official mission, that develops new and innovative programs and events in the areas of music, visual arts, performance, dance, and communications. It's committed to establishing bridges between the arts community and to peace building, with special attention to the work of the United Nations and the aims of the UN Charter and the realization of a culture of peace. Next slide. 4 years ago, Arts for Peace was under the umbrella of a group called World Association. Please come in, have a seat. Thank you for coming. World Association of Former United Nations Interns and Fellows, which has the kind of awkward and unfortunate acronym WAFUNIF. And both Dean Leslie, who I mentioned, and Frank Dominguez are former interns in their younger years, and were part of WAFUNIF. So this venture, Arts for Peace, has since become an established NGO. It has 501c3 status, and it's an approved charity under the New York State Department of Education. Next slide. I first learned about Arts for Peace quite by accident, following the amazing Haitian earthquake in January of 2010, magnitude 7 earthquake that leveled Haiti, as all of you I'm sure know. Like so many people, I thought, what can I possibly do to be of assistance in any small way? At the time, I was director of ACUS Gallery, which is part of Eastern Connecticut State University. And like OU's museum, it has a beautiful, small, permanent collection. Their collection includes 270 Haitian paintings and sculptures. So immediately I thought of that. I called a friend at Yale University Overseas Ministry Study Center, and we were able to mount a benefit exhibition summer of 2010 at Yale Divinity School with free will donations to the Mennonite Central Committee, which the Divinity School has particular connection with, and with the Haitian Health Foundation, which the family who had donated the Haitian art to Eastern has a particular connection with. So that was a very positive step. Thank you for coming. Come on in. Next slide. So this exhibition that we put together to try to help people in Haiti, or at least raise awareness and sympathy and bring some kind of color and life and vibrancy to the culture. This was called Haiti Rising, and it was selections from the Stanley Popeil and Ingrid Feddersen collection at Eastern. This couple, as I said, were supporters of the Haitian Health Foundation, and Stanley Popeil has passed away. Ingrid Feddersen told me that she and her husband had traveled many, many years back and forth to Haiti. They wanted to donate money to people, but people would not accept it. They didn't want to accept charity. The artists were very happy to sell their work and to be benefited in that way, so support the local economy. So these are a handful of other things that we exhibited at Yale that summer. Next slide. Oh, it's also interesting to note, just as a side note, that Stanley and Ingrid, every time they traveled from Connecticut to Haiti, they took their own boat. They were avid sailors, so really neat people. The Haiti Rising reception at Yale Divinity School brought together a number of people. In the center, you see on the right-hand side center, that young man is Jordan Laureus, who at the time was an Eastern Connecticut State University student. He is Haitian American. He's a very dynamic individual who performed at the opening. In addition to Jordan, Yale scholar and Haitian American Robert Lamotte, who's to his right, to the left of that image, spoke at that opening. He's a scholar at Yale. And it was there that I met Frank Dominguez, and honestly, it seemed too good to be true. He came up to me with boundless enthusiasm and said that he was affiliated with the UN, and I thought he was had a screw loose, honestly. But it turns out that he had everything right going on and was trying to do something incredibly altruistic and positive to build consensus and peace and goodwill through the arts. So through Frank, I also met Jordan Urbach, who's the violinist you see on the lower right. Jordan Urbach is an incredible young man. He's 22. He started playing violin at 2. He made his Carnegie Hall debut when he was 7. He's played at Lincoln Center. He's toured nationally and internationally. And happily, he's not just a child prodigy with disability, but he's an incredibly generous person. So before he was a teenager, he started a foundation called Children Helping Children. And through something called Concerts for the Cure, Jordan has now amassed more than $5 million to help children who are dealing with pediatric neurology issues. Just an incredible, incredible guy. So I'm meeting these people, Frank, the two Jordans, the Jordi, as we like to call them. I thought these incredibly gifted and generous people are hitching their wagon to this little star, Arts for Peace, and I was curious and excited, and I couldn't believe my good fortune when they asked me to be part of the fold as curatorial consultant. A little technical note, I endeavored to embed videos into this PowerPoint and it did not happen. So they're bookmarked, so if you could go to the next slide and then minimize that. This video is Jordan Laureus. He is, as I said, incredible young man, Eastern student, now graduate, who's the son of missionaries. He grew up in Stamford, Connecticut. At the time of the earthquake, just hold on one sec, at the time of the earthquake, he was filming a documentary in Serbia because he had extra time on his spring break, or his winter break. And so he was very far from any family in Haiti and any family in Connecticut. Feel free to come in. Thank you. And he wrote this song in 4 days following the earthquake. It's called Haiti Campe, or Haiti Stand. It's in Creole. Go ahead, play that.
Words called 2010. The earthquake struck the island of Haiti.
Let me see if you can increase the volume on the...
Many people. And of those many people that passed away were mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, with God. Several husbands with God, aunts with God, uncles with God, passed away in this happening. I don't know what else I can do at the moment, but to share my heart.
I think he lost 4 or 5 family members, and this is literally 4 days after the tragedy. He was inspired. So again, all these words are Creole, but what he's saying is, I don't know my brothers, I don't know my mother, I don't know my sisters, there's no one here to help me. Haiti, stand up, Haiti, take a rise, we can, it's a rally song.
Haïti campé, Haïti campé, tendez, tendez, Haïti campé, Haïti campé, Haïti campé. Si nous crions ensemble la voix, si nous campions ensemble la voix, si Aquele tipo surpreendente, no vague campo no passai, todo acorde abaixai, a nos lavar na dor. Instantes we are for people, someday, someday, Haiti cafe, someday, someday, Haiti cafe.
So this is, the raw song, the original song, and this I wanted to show it to you because later in the lecture you're going to see a very different version. It was, well, I'll hold that for a second. The next slide. Thank you. So the inaugural Arts for Peace Salon, in the spirit of sort of 19th century salon of bringing together the meeting of the minds, artists, writers, musicians, performers, was held at the Millennium Plaza Hotel next to the UN in New York. Like I said, I was stunned. They invited me to come and to present. You can see I'm stunned. That's the look of being stunned and excited to be part of something so big, you know. So it included an installation of Haiti Rising, which was very exciting for ECSU to be, in essence, exhibiting something at the UN. So pictured here on the left is Dean Leslie, the president of Arts for Peace, our resident fabulous philanthropist and child prodigy, Jordan Urbach. This is Frank Dominguez, who would have been here with us this evening. Ingrid Feddersen is on the upper right, whose collection was on view. And this is Jordan Laureus again, who that evening, along with Jordan Urbach, was officially named a Goodwill Ambassador for Arts for Peace. Next slide. So, as I said, the Haiti Campaign was just the beginning. They continued to build momentum, and Jordan Laureus connected with MTV Serbia. He was in Belgrade when the disaster had happened. He wrote that song. He was in the airport waiting for his flight back to Connecticut and playing his guitar. And the general manager of MTV, Adria, just happened to walk by. This is the kind of amazing Arts for Peace synergy that happens if you're just open to it. So it covers the nations bordering the Adriatic Sea. And this executive director was also director of the MTV Europe Foundation, which is an independent charitable foundation of MTV Networks Europe. So he heard the song Haiti Campaign and invited Jordan, along with his former bandmate, Matt Grosjean, who's also an Eastern student, or was an Eastern student, to come to Serbia. So here is an image of the two of them performing with the band The Phantoms before a crowd of 15,000 at an MTV event. Just incredible kids. So the next is actually back to the video. And this is the result of that collaboration with MTV. You could just hold it for a second, bring up the second one. Thank you very much, John. So in collaboration with a Serbian band called Darkwood Dub and Croatian singer Ida Prestor, Jordan and this group, these two groups, created a song, in a video and song inspired by a Haiti Campaign called Listen. It's kind of, it's sort of an 80s feel. It's fun. Play a little bit of it for you. And it's very meaningful to you. So just to also let you know that this somehow this little video that happened because of a chance meeting, because of an inspiration from a disaster and a chance meeting in an airport, they became #1 in Belgrade for some period of time. And they continue to spread the message of peace and try to use this to help Haiti. Shahar Kasmat, Iranian women create, I'm bringing you back to this because, oh, can you go back? I'm not sure what just happened. Thank you. That was a show that I co-curated with ECSU colleague Afarin Rahmanifar in spring of 2010. And it explored the work of 4 Iranian women artists, Afarin herself, who's pictured in the center on the right, giving a lecture, Mina Momeni, a Canadian Iranian woman, Taravat Talabasand, who lives in California and is Iranian, and Farideh Shahsavarani, who lives in Tehran. All of different generations, all living in different parts of the world, all with very different ways of practicing their religion or not practicing, with very different ways of either following Sharia or not following. And Afarin and I wanted to bring a really empathetic perspective to through the arts, just at the height of the very serious conflict that was happening in Iran. We were keen on using this to teach our audience, both the general audience and the university students, more about modern Iran, about Islam, women's rights, peace or strife. And so in collaboration, we were unwittingly already creating visual experiences that spoke to Arts for Peace. So, the next slide, please. The next Salon for Arts for Peace was at Le Poisson Rouge Gallery in New York. And so they featured Shahar Kasmat in a digital form. Farideh Shahsavarani is a filmmaker in Tehran, and she permitted us to screen her film as a backdrop to the music that was happening. So it was all starting to coalesce for Arts for Peace. Jordan Urbach came back to perform along with Juilliard pianist Karen Beluso, and there were performances. I'm not sure. Oh, it's automatically advancing. That's what's happening. That's okay. Just leave it. There were performances by the Phantoms and also Gabrielle Lowell, soprano. Okay, so you want to escape and go to the next. This is the wunderkind Jordan Urbach, who's just also a very down-to-earth guy who, you'd be happy to have a beer with, but who is changing the world through his philanthropy and music. And he's performing his original composition, Arion, during the April 2011 Salon in New York. back to... All right. So Arts for Peace is taking off. It's growing exponentially. I was happy to, again, participate with them in June of 2011 in New Haven at my own dearly missed church, United Church on the Green, as part of the Arts and Ideas Festival in New Haven. So this was just after the tsunami in Japan. I contacted a friend, artist, Hiromi Nozeki. So she did an installation and we had Haitian work. There were more performances, this time with Urbach and also Harpus Live Coats, as well as programming, including a discussion about interfaith outreach. Next. In August of 2011, again at Le Poisson Rouge, the next salon was about contemporary art and women in Syria. And what you see pictured here is an artist named Jackie Kazarian, who's got the short gray hair in the left slide. And she is with the Art Institute of Chicago. She had been in summer of 2010 at the U.S. Embassy in Syria doing art workshops and heard about Arts for Peace and is now part of the fold. There were also live performances at this event. Urbach, Karen Beluso, Seema Cunningham, her name embodies what she is. She's an American who is both Armenian and Irish. She's a true melting pot girl and a wonderful guitarist and vocalist. So, let's see, where am I? Yeah, next slide. You should just be able to click it. Yeah, it's not working. Technical difficulties abound, but we just carry on, even in the cold out here. So the Phantoms then embarked on a tour of Haiti. The Phantoms, again, are Jordan Lorius and Matt Grosjean in summer of 2011. And they bring music to all these different venues in the devastation. I mean, as you know, I'm sure Haiti has had an incredible difficulty because there's no infrastructure. So people were just getting together to play music, to raise people's spirits, which is all what Arts for Peace is about. So they were setting up shop on street corners. They were everywhere, burnout churches, it didn't matter, to try to inspire people. The Haitian tour initiated the Hearts for Peace movement that's become a focal point of Arts for Peace activities to enhance disaster relief, foster economic security, and supplement peace building in Haiti. Next slide. The next event was in Narrowsburg, New York, which just coincidentally is 20 minutes from where I grew up, in a beautiful camp, 10 Mile River Scout camp. It was called For the Forest. The United Nations declared 2011 the International Year of Forests and the International Year of Chemistry. And in recognition and with U.S. authorization, Arts for Peace hosted this event in cooperation with the Electronic Music Foundation. It comprised an afternoon of music, activities, food, performance, art, and all manner of things in the forest. There were several things performed, including Yoko Ono's Secret Piece, which is a composition that weaves vocalizations of wind and water, birds, insects, and animals. So